Since the inception of this channel all the way back in 2019, it has been a time-honoured tradition that each year, around Valentine's Day, we chronicle the finest selection of man-meat that the video games industry has to offer.
Some might say that two 30-year-old men and a 12-year-old girl ogling digital lads is inappropriate and in poor taste. And to those people we say, shut up and let us have our innuendo-laden fun.
Indeed, it is that time of year once again, where we here at Team Triple Jump take a look back at the past 12 months, or more specifically, the pixelated sexy boys that have populated them, with affection in our hearts, butterflies in our tummies, and blueness in our balls.
No, that one's too spicy for YouTube, stop. The rules are quite simple. If you are A, a hunky boy, and 2, in a video game, you're eligible for inclusion on this list. Get those dehumidifiers running, ladies, gentlemen, and others, because things are about to get rather steamy.
Oh, and before you are cast adrift in this sea of dreamboats, we should warn you that there may be 1 or 2 spoilers up ahead. We apologise, but when talking about these studs, we just can't help ourselves.
I'm Ben.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Ashton from Triple Jump, and here are the 15 hunkiest video game boys 2022 to 2023.
Number 15. Lieutenant Simon Ghost Riley, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. We're kicking off this year's Hunky Boys video with a real, mysterious fellow. We COD fans were first acquainted with Lieutenant Simon Riley, or Ghost as he's better known, in 2009's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and after over a decade of swooning, we've finally been able to include him on one of these lists, thanks to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Yes, we know it's confusing, but try not to worry about it and just get back to swooning. This British Special Forces operative can usually be found undertaking covert missions and taking down bad guys for the good of mankind, but after several years of selflessly serving others, we think it's high time that he got taken care of for once. Of course, by that we mean intimately, and not the other way. Indeed, nothing would bring us more joy than to see Ghost putting the arse in arse-arsenation by recovering our intel, if you get what it's sex. We're certain that under all of that military gear there's a body that's absolutely to die for, though we don't mind if he doesn't take it all off. In fact, keep the balaclava on. It's naughtier that way.
Number 14. Guybrush Threepwood, Return to Monkey Island. Swashbuckling stunner Guybrush Threepwood has been around since before most of us here at Team Triple Jump were born, so for many of us, he's been something of a lifelong crush. We haven't been able to share our feelings until now though, as we haven't had a brush with Guy in over a decade, and oh boy, have we missed him. Luckily, our lonely nights are at an end, as Guybrush came back in 2022 and made his return to Monkey Island. Admittedly, he's had a bit of a makeover since we last saw him, but he's still got those long, flowing blonde locks and that cheeky look about him, and as such, we continue to swoon. Not only is Guybrush the adventurous type, meaning he certainly knows how to show us a good time, but he's also a pirate, which surely tells us he knows his way around booty. He's also witty, intelligent, and highly charming, and so even when he's not giving you a jolly rogering, you can be sure of a great time. Something salty seaman, something poop deck. Yes, he's clumsy, but that just makes him all the more endearing. Let's just say that he can Guybrush our Threepwood anytime he likes.
Number 13. Woody, Disney Dreamlight Valley. The world of Disney is full to bursting with handsome fellas, but I'll be honest, a human gent can't always hit the right spot. And every so often, it's worth bringing a toy into the bedroom to spice things up a bit. Of course, I'm talking about Woody of Toy Story and Disney Dreamlight Valley fame. Why? What were you thinking about? This diminutive Adonis made his way to Disney Dreamlight Valley in December 2022. And I tell you, it wasn't just Christmas that came early this year. From his hat all the way down to his boots, this plaything is every inch the hunk. Plus, if he's got a snake in his boot, where else do you think he has one? You just know you can rely on him to take care of you both in and out of the bedroom. So whether he's poisoning your water hole or simply taking his favourite deputy out to dinner, you're in for a good time. Not to mention the fact that if Woody just isn't enough toy for you, then you can always ask Buzz to lend a hand. Brings a whole new meaning to "you've got a friend in me," doesn't it?
Number 12. Cassidy, Overwatch 2. It seems that we just couldn't get enough of sexy cowboys this past year, but not one of them had our 6 shooters firing quite like Overwatch 2's Cole Cassidy. If that southern drawl and those abs don't get you going, I don't know what will. This charming sharpshooter has been in our hearts since the release of 2016's Overwatch, but it's only thanks to his appearance in 2022's Overwatch 2 that we've finally been able to induct him into the Hunky Hall of Fame. And yes, such a thing exists, and no, you don't want to touch any of the surfaces. Definitely don't shine a black light in there either. Cassidy can usually be found gunning down his enemies with his Peacekeeper revolver, but although he may well be a fighter in the streets, you just know that this poncho-loving lad is dynamite in the sheets. After all, that bionic arm must have both a business and a pleasure function, right? Sure, he's got something of a scandalous past, having previously been a member of the Deadlock Gang, but we think that all that this rugged rogue needs is someone to pour him a delicious glass of hard liquor and fan his hammer.
Number 11. Chewbacca, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now don't get us wrong, we're all for a well-groomed man, but just occasionally we feel the need to cleanse our palates with someone a little more wild. Of course, we've been fantasizing about this big hairy boy ever since we first clapped eyes on him in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. And for years, we haven't been able to get that giant sexy rug out of our minds. Sadly, the world of video games didn't give us a full-size Chewbacca in 2022, and so we've had to make do with this shiny plastic counterpart instead. I say make do, but LEGO Chewbacca is almost as hunky as the real thing, and has the added bonus of being completely portable, so you can take that lovin' on the go. Will he hurt your feet if you accidentally step on him in the night? Oh, he absolutely will. But hey, I like the pain. Sorry, that's not actually in the script. It says, but hey, love hurts, and we're happy to look past the odd arch injury if it means we get to cuddle up with Chewie and have a play with his, bowcaster. He'll be grunting and growling all night, and you can guarantee there'll be some parsexual healing. Just watch out for hairballs.
Number 10, the Dragon Lord, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. We turn our attention now to the hunky boy who really puts D's nuts in D&D's nuts. The Dragon Lord may be bad, but who doesn't love a guy with power? Plus, maybe we can fix him. The Dragon Lord made his titillating debut in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and although we were disappointed in some aspects of the game, its chief antagonist more than made up for it. A powerful necromancer, the Dragon Lord is on a mission to eradicate the stain of heroism from the world. And we can think of a few stains of his own we'd like him to make. He's tall, he glows, he's got a bloomin' massive sword, and he has an entire army of skeletons at his command, so you know he's great with bones. There's also an added bonus if you're into feet, because by golly, would you look at those toes! I personally am not a foot person, or at least I wasn't before. But with that said, those are some very shapely piggies you've got there, Mr. Dragon Lord, sir. All of this is to say that Dragon Lord might not be a diamond pony, but he can still be our butt stallion. Nay, nay.
Number 9. Ash Williams, Evil Dead the Game. Clearly, 2022 was a great year for folks who love super hot dudes with missing appendages. First Cole Cassidy, now this hunk. Thankfully though, Ash Williams of Evil Dead the Game fame isn't missing the appendage that we're interested in. Indeed, he might have a chainsaw for a hand and spends his days using it to chop deadites to bits, but don't let that put you off, because we're sure that this icon of horror has plenty of love to give. After all, whilst the Kandarian demon is interested in getting up close and personal with its victims, it's not exactly in the way any of us would enjoy, and we're certain that Ash would much rather spend an evening possessing our bodies than being possessed himself. If his rugged good looks and aptitude at dispatching monsties isn't enough to get you going, then let me remind you that chainsaw detaches, and we reckon old Ash probably has plenty of additional attachments at the ready designed with pleasure in mind. Perhaps a whisk to whip you up a delicious souffle, a lighter to light some romantic candles, then 1 or 2 special gadgets to really exercise your demons. The possibilities really are endless.
Number 8. Alfred, Gotham Knights. You might think that in order to qualify for hunky boy status, you need to be young and muscular, but you would be wrong. Here at Team Triple Jump, we don't discriminate, and just because you're lacking in the biceps department and are old enough to draw your pension, it doesn't mean we won't find you drool-worthy. Case in point, the Gotham Knights aide, Alfred Pennyworth. We do love a silver fox, and Alfred is both a grey-haired sex bomb and a sophisticated gentleman to boot that would be willing to cater to your every need. Yes, he might not have Nightwing's acrobatic abilities or the physical strength of Red Hood, but Alfred more than makes up for it with experience. And let's face it, that is far more important than being able to tie yourself in knots. Well, I suppose it depends on your stance on BDSM. Regardless, we're sure that Alfred has all the know-how required to give you the dark night of your life. Just make sure he's had his cod liver oil capsule before things get too steamy. We also imagine that Alfred might have access to all of Batman's old gadgets, so you can bet there'll be leather and ropes aplenty, and possibly even some rubber nipples. Why yes, Alfred, I certainly would like to try the bat plugs this evening. I thought you'd never ask.
Number 7, Shaggy, Multiverses. What could be more appealing than a man who literally has the word shag in his name? Well, according to this list, at least 6 other blokes, but that's by the by. Shaggy himself has actually been in the spotlight since 1969. Very nice. Appearing in both TV shows and movies, but he's only dipped his toe in the video game pool a few times, with one such instance being 2022's Multiverses, in which he can be found giving the likes of Bugs Bunny and Superman what for. Outside of battle, however, Shaggy's a chilled out dude who just wants to kick back with some good food. And what could possibly be better for dessert than 3 young, attractive YouTubers? How about a second helping, big boy? You know you want to.
I'm starving, dude.
When you're not both butt naked banging on the bathroom floor or feeding each other Scooby snacks, what better way to spend your date night than cruising around in the mystery machine, solving crimes and hitting up the tastiest hotspots in town? There'd never be a dull moment for sure. And if nothing else, we bet he's great at doing it doggy style.
I wish I could introduce you to my best friend Scoob.
Number 6. Master Splinter, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. We've come across our fair share of love rats in our time, but never have we loved a rat before now. There's a first time for everything, I suppose. Indeed, if you're on the lookout for a man with wisdom, experience, and a lot of hair, then you could do far worse than to direct your attention to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles master, Splinter. Whether you're looking for some sage advice or simply a big furry fella to snuggle up to, Splinter has you covered. First and foremost, he's a master of martial arts, but with all of his knowledge, we're sure that he could translate some of those moves into maneuvers in the bedroom. Sex. Oh, and don't let that cane fool you, because this old rat's as spry as any young man, and if he's capable of jumping through the air to deliver a high kick, then he can just as easily jump right into your bed. Even if you're not in the mood for any of that though, you know there's a nice relaxing time awaiting you with Splinter, so grab some desserts, put some soaps on the telly, we're told those are his very favourite things, and let the romance begin.
Number 5. Chris Hackett, The Quarry. Now before you all scream, Peter, why would you want to date Chris Hackett? He's a literal werewolf. Just take a moment to reflect on yourself and think about whether you have any flaws. Yeah, not so perfect either, are you? This Kumbaya singing beefcake came to us in 2022 courtesy of The Quarry, a game in which several teens find themselves stranded in a summer camp overnight just as the full moon hits, which is then beset by werewolves. But if you look past the whole mortal peril thing, you'll actually find that Hackett's Quarry, the summer camp in question, is quite the romantic spot. And who better to enjoy it with than head honcho Chris Hackett? He's handsome, a business owner, and a family man, as well as being a thoughtful, considerate guy, so you just know he's going to take care of your every need. Why not snuggle up by the campfire and cook up some s'mores, take a romantic stroll down by the lake, and then retire to Chris's quarters and let him get his claws into you. You'll be howling all night long, and if you're lucky, he might even show you his full moon.
Number 4. Val, Horizon Forbidden West. The world of Horizon Zero Dawn and its 2022 sequel Horizon Forbidden West seems like a less than ideal place to go searching for love. Admittedly, dating in the real world isn't exactly a walk in the park, but trying to find a romantic partner whilst dealing with the ever-looming threat of being killed by a mechanical camel doesn't bear thinking about. Fortuitously, we've already set our sights on a piece of man-meat so delectable that, were he ours, we'd probably never have to leave the safety of the tribe ever again. There's much more to Val than just a pretty face though, so not only would he make for an exhilarating bedroom companion, but he'd also treat you right. He's a patient, understanding man who'd be more than happy to listen to you talk about your problems. and should any of those pesky machines cause any trouble, then his prowess as a warrior would ensure that both of you were safe. Oh, and did we mention how sexy he looks in all of his armour? You know, no matter how many hunks I see, I'll never get tired of seeing a man in leather.
Number 3. Iron Fist Alexander, Elden Ring. We're not gonna lie, we had a hard time picking just one hunky boy from the veritable smorgasbord that were on offer in From Software's open-world RPG Elden Ring. We almost went with Godric the Grafted on the grounds that, in our opinion, there's no such thing as having too many arms, but then we remembered that there's one curvaceous lad in the lands between who is not only a simmering pot of love, but who's an utter gentleman to boot. This rotund NPC can be found in Northern Stormhill, but when players first stumble across him, he's in quite the predicament. You see, those metallic cheeks are so thick that this poor round boy has gotten himself stuck in the ground. Not to worry though, because all he needs is a good smack from behind with something nice and big, his words, not mine, to get him on his way. That mighty wallop of yours, again his words not mine, might be too much for him to handle, but regardless, he's still appreciative of a helping hand, so those who do give this hot cauldron a little smack on the bottom will be rewarded with his exalted flesh. Kinky.
Number 2. Fiat 500 F68, Gran Turismo 7. Are you looking for a man that can really rev your engine? Then look no further than the Fiat 500 F68. We can only speculate what the F stands for, but I think we have a pretty good idea if you catch my drift. Drift, that's a motor racing term for you right there. Featured in every Gran Turismo since GT5, but most recently appearing in 2022's Gran Turismo 7, this compact chap might be small, but he can certainly get you where you're looking to go. Yes, he might not be as flashy as the likes of the Bugatti Chiron or the Audi R8, but this curvy lad still has enough oomph to get things moving. If you want to take things slow and steady, the Fiat 500 F68 has you covered, but if you want things to get a little racy, he's also got a whopping 16 brake horsepower under that little hood of his, not to mention a surprising amount of space in his trunk, in which we assume he stores plenty of junk. And of course, you know what they say, 68 plus 1, that's you, equals 69. We're not sure how that would work with him logistically, but we're certain that there must be a way.
And number 1, Mimir, God of War Ragnarok. Upon God of War Ragnarok's release in November 2022, we were very pleased to find our favourite horny hunk had made a return. Of course, we've known Mimir for a little while, having first met him whilst having some serious wood trouble in 2018's God of War. Don't be fooled by appearances, because what this sex pot lacks in body, he more than makes up for in brains. How many dates have you gone on where the conversation is utterly non-existent? Well, there's no danger of that with Mimir, because this handsome fellow has centuries worth of tales to keep you on the edge of your seat. Pour a glass of wine, snuggle down into those furs, and while away the hours together. I'm sure he's got a naughty story or two in his repertoire.
Additionally, those magical peepers of his can whisk you away at a moment's notice to the most romantic destinations in the 9 realms, show you all kinds of wondrous images, and uncover all of your dirty little secrets.
And if none of that is enough for you, then it's worth remembering that he's also really great at spooning. So congratulations to Mimir, the official Triple Jump Sexiest Video Game Male 2022. Rather apt, really, that it should go to someone who's really good at giving head.